my pleasure to give the mic to Bharti Tailor.
Thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste.
We've heard salam and shalom. Namaste. I'll go with that. As Yusuf so kindly said, one of the projects that I've been working on is Hindu-Muslim dialogue. Firstly, I want to thank the International Imam Hussain Council for inviting me. Thank you, Rizvi. And I'm really glad to be here. And some of the things I've heard have been truly inspiring. So it's been great today. Now, when I spoke to Rubab, she said, say a few sentences about Syeda Fatima. And I thought, what am I going to say to a group of what I imagine would be mostly Muslim about a Muslim icon? Me being a Hindu, my knowledge of this lady is never going to be as good as the knowledge some of you have. But from what I've read, it seems clear that she's a gutsy woman, I would say, and a great role model. There seems to be a lot written about her, which indicates that perhaps she was admired in her own time as well as today, more than a millennia after her time. So I think that speaks for itself, that if somebody can survive this time in history, it shows that they must have made an impact. As I say, I bow to all of you because you probably have greater knowledge of her than I. And it's been a learning process for me for presenting this, preparing this presentation. So I'll leave the more talk of Syeda Fatima to the more knowledgeable ones, and I thought I would share with you a little about the Hindu view of women and look at women as peacemakers. I wondered what you know about Hinduism and women. You know, some of the things that come to my mind are this possibly of being disempowered, possibly uneducated, walking 3 paces behind the husband, maybe. And I thought, well, yes, that may be so in a male-dominated culture, but it's not how all Hindu women are. And in fact, in the faith, women are held in highest respect and honor. We are one of the traditions of the world, one of the major faiths, the only major faith in the world that looks at God as female. God has no form, we give God form, but we also look at God in a female form. So we have names for God in female form, such as Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. Notice, knowledge is portrayed as female, Saraswati. We have Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. And wealth doesn't just mean money, although the famous pictures just show her, you know, money dripping from her palm. It's wealth of health, wealth of education, wealth. You know, if you look at South Indians, they have Navalakshmi, 9 types of wealth that Lakshmi portrays. We also have Jagadamba, the creator of the world. So God as a creator is also being portrayed as female. And then perhaps more familiar to many will be the story of Sita, the consort of Ram, you know, another female role model. So through history there have been many female role models, and as I say, we worship God as female. We have visionary women, the Rishikas they were called. We have rishis, the men who were visionaries, and there are Rishikas who write hymns in the Vedas. So we have hymns in the Vedas that are written by women, and in our sacred scriptures. And more recently, you know, if we look at recent history, I mean, we're 5,000-year-old tradition, so recent history, I mean 500 years ago, we have Mirabai, who was a widowed princess of Rajasthan who became a great reformer for women. She fought against many of the restrictions that stopped women being active in faith and tradition. There's a very famous story of Mirabai, that towards the end of her life, when she was nearly in her 70s, she makes her way to Vrindavan, which is the place where she recognizes Lord Krishna as Lord used to live. So she goes there to make her final sort of home. And she is hears that one of the leaders of the Chaitanya tradition, which is where the Hare Krishnas originate from, was visiting. So she sends him a letter saying, it would be nice if you came to visit me. He was a young man, she was an old lady. She thought it would be good if he came to see her. And he replies back saying he doesn't visit women, and if he wants to see her, she should come to him. She writes back to him, and she says, in the land of God, we are all women. And what she means is, we all chase after God as a male lover might chase after a woman. So she wrote to him saying, in the land of God, we are all women chasing God. And he read it, he understood what she was trying to say, and he actually comes to visit her. So that shows that a woman can have dignity and use faith and spirituality in order to command. But I want to bring it to the modern tradition as well, within Hinduism, and relating it to something I've been involved in recently. I'm on the European Council of Religious Leaders, and in that capacity I recently went to Sarajevo in Bosnia, and there the Religions for Peace European Women of Faith Network launched a project called Restoring Dignity. Now the reason for launching it there was during the war, one of the things that happened, apart from these thousands of men getting killed, was that the women were subjected to rape. And of course they had to bury their sons, their fathers, their brothers, and so on, husbands. So it was a good place to launch this thing on restoring dignity, because somebody said earlier, peace is not just the absence of war, it is also other things. And in my book, it also needs equality and it also needs dignity. So this project was launched there, and I wanted to share with you something from the Hindu tradition, which I think helps with this issue of dignity. And the concept is called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means the world is one family. So Hindu children, we bring them up to think of the world as one family. And just as in a family you may have different characteristics, different personalities, and so on, then we regard each of the faiths as part of the same family, but just a different way that might suit a different member of the family. So the children are brought up that you should respect all faiths. As a part of that, one of the things is about respecting women. And this is something I've taught my children. And I wanted to share it with you, and I hope that it helps inspire, because we as mothers raise men. And if we want to respect, then we have to teach our children that as well. And they learn that not just by learning what we say, they learn it by watching what we do and how we treat others. So I've taught my children, I have 2 sons, every girl or woman is some man's daughter and some man's sister. And if not already, she will someday be some man's wife and some man's mother. You should not treat any woman the way you would not want your mother, your sister, your wife, or your daughter to be treated. And ladies, only you can teach your child that. You are the first teacher of any child, and they will learn by watching what you do, how you are treated, and how you treat others. So I would say, ladies, take the initiative, and perhaps we will create peace. Mothers don't like to have disquiet or disunity in their family, community, or the world. And so we can perhaps work towards peace through that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bharti, and it's wonderful to hear a Hindu perspective in a Muslim gathering. That is really very nice.